Hello my loves and welcome back to my channel. Today's video is a new pick a card reading and this one is all about the next chapter in your career. So if you are curious about what's going to happen next in your career life, then you have jumped to the right place. We are going to get into it. We're going to try to get as much detail as possible. But before we hop into today's video, I do want to give a huge shout out to Taylor Brands for sponsoring today's video. If you have not heard of them before, they are essentially a platform where you can launch your own business. And it's also super simple. You basically go to their website, you answer a few different questions, and then Taylor Brands will help you launch your perfect business. They make the process extremely streamlined and easy. You can do so many things on there, such as logo design, your brand, creating your website, your business cards. You can do so much on there, and they even help you form your own LLC. And an LLC is a limited liability company. It's relatively inexpensive to form and also easy to maintain. Having an LLC is also really important because it can help you with your taxes and saving money so that you have more money in your pocket as a business. And it also helps you with your liability and lets your customers know that you are a real and actual business. And the process is truly that simple. You go to their website, you answer a few different questions, and then Taylor Brands will show you all the different steps that you need to do, and your brand is then ready to launch within minutes. So if you are interested in giving them a try, you can head to the link down below and click on that, and you will also get a limited time special discount. So if you are interested in launching a business and giving Taylor Brands a try, I highly recommend checking out that deal down below in the description box. Click on that link, it'll take you right to their website where you can get a limited time offer. I cannot wait to see the businesses that you all form. I'm so excited about it. And again, a huge thank you to Taylor Brands for sponsoring today's video. And without further ado, let's hop right back into today's pick a card reading. Hello my loves, what is up? What is going on? Welcome back to my channel. Today's video is a new pick a card reading, and this one is all about the topic of the next chapter in your career. So we're gonna try to get as much information as possible in today's video to find out what that next chapter is gonna look like for you in terms of your career. So if you are ready for it, let's begin. If you are new to these videos, I'm gonna give you a quick little explanation about how they work. So we have 4 different groups in front of me, as you can see. We have a group number 1, 2, 3, and then 4. So you can take a moment and pause the video if you would like in order to find the pile that you're the most drawn towards. Then once you're done choosing your pile, there's going to be timestamps linked down below in the comment box as well as the description box so that you can skip right ahead to your personal prediction all about the future of your career. So I'm really excited to get into it. If you like to choose with crystals on the cards, then let's go ahead and pop some crystals on these cards. All right, my loves, if you like to choose with crystals, here are our crystal options. So over on group number 1, we have some chrysoprase. And then over on group 2, we have some sunset aura quartz. Then on group number 3, we have some bismuth. And then on group number 4, we have some larimar. So again, take a moment, pause the video if you would like in order to find the pile that you're the most drawn towards. Then again, there's going to be timestamps linked down below in the comment box as well as the description box so that you can skip right ahead to your personal reading. So with that being said, let's go ahead and hop right into today's video. All right, so group number 1, if you chose this pile, then this is going to be your reading. So let's get right into it. Okay, so group number 1, I'm feeling some major things right off the bat. So we have ambition and water as our cards to start us off. And obviously with the ambition card, when we're talking about your career, ambition, that is self-explanatory. That is being very ambitious about something. So there could be, the next chapter of your career is you being very focused on the next big goal. And I feel like there's going to be a lot of drive and a lot of motivation and a lot of energy behind it. So especially if you've been feeling like you're unsure about what direction to go in, the next chapter of your career, I see you being very laser focused and very clear on what it is that you want, and there's tons of drive and motivation. I'm almost hearing that for you, it's kind of like there's going to be this sense of flow and this sense of flight that's happening for you, and especially because the depiction of this card is this woman and she has these wings by her head and by her ears. This is making me think that you're going to be flowing with tons of ideas that you're really excited to go for and to begin. And I just see a lot of ideas taking flight. Like this card to me says ideas are taking flight. So if you've been having a lot of ideas in your head lately, but maybe we just haven't been taking action on them, I'm seeing tons of action being taken in your life and in your career, and lots of energy and drive moving forward. The water card is really interesting coming up because it's reminding me of the term liquid assets, which is kind of like more cash coming in, more money coming in, or, you know, other types of like liquid investments. So this could be even getting into investing. So some of you may be interested in investing into something that's going to hold its value. So just this water card is definitely making me feel like there's a lot more flow of abundance and also a lot more flow of energy and ideas in your life, because water, it gets around everything. It gets around every obstacle, and it knows how to like get anywhere it needs to go. Like if you take water and you begin rushing it forward through something, it'll eat away at rock, it'll like put out any fires. So I'm seeing you being able to like put out fires, getting around obstacles with ease, because water doesn't really stop its flow. Like we can hold water into a container, but then if we set it free, it moves. And if you think about a river, if you have a river and then you like, you know, put a big boulder in the middle of that river, the river is just going to go around the boulder, and eventually over time it's just going to eat away through that entire boulder over time, right? So water kind of always finds a way. So a thing that I'm seeing for you in the next chapter of your career is very much finding ways through obstacles and through challenges. So if you've been facing something lately, I am definitely seeing that this next chapter for you is bringing about ways of getting through that and around that. You are getting around obstacles. You are figuring out solutions. I'm seeing ideas just flowing to you, being in flow. It's almost effortless. Like there's this effortless energy, almost like taking a raft downstream. It just seems like the energy is going to be flowing a lot in this next chapter for you, to the point where you could just sit on the raft and let it kind of guide you and take you to where you need to go. And I think things will be moving a lot more fast-paced, especially since we have ambition right next to the water card. I am seeing some fast-paced kind of energy and getting through stuff very well. Water is also very intuitive. So I'm hearing that for the next chapter of your career, it's going to rely a lot on your intuition to get you through those obstacles. And it's time for us to begin really practicing trusting ourselves and trusting where our emotions are guiding us, because your emotions are going to be the key to your obstacles in this next chapter of your career. Your intuition and listening, really listening, that's also why we have, again, these wings by this woman's ears. Listening is going to be very important for you. Listening to your gut, listening to your intuition, listening to the subtle things kind of going on, and that's going to really help you in this next phase, whether that be gathering inspiration, motivation, or energy, or ideas through listening to the smaller things, paying more attention in your career, or whether that be getting over obstacles and listening for those subtle cues, or listening to what other people are saying in order to kind of like really get the advice or anything like that you need in this next chapter. It's very much about listening, and Spirit really wants to bring a focus towards listening, because that's going to help you tremendously in this next chapter of your career, is to listen. And I'm also hearing like watching videos, like learning things or something, listening to what other people have to say about what it is that you're trying to do, because I think that that's going to help you out greatly as well. Also, I'm noticing this angel number 33 that we have at the top, which connects to communication, networking, discussing ideas with other people. This could be opportunities coming your way through other people, or opportunities coming your way through the people that you network with might open up certain doors for you, or might open up certain ideas for you. But I'm definitely seeing networking is going to be important. I see you also meeting new people in this next chapter of your career that'll really excel you and push you forward in new ways. But I'm definitely also, I'm getting like a learning, like being open to learning. I keep hearing be open to learning. We also have master number 11 with these two numbers, the 38, that equals master number 11 when it's together. And that is all about learning how to get over those obstacles. So, and all of a sudden they're going to be to your advantage. So if you have been dealing with obstacles in your career, that'll actually be to your benefit in the future of your career. So definitely keep that in mind as well. And let's see what else we get for our beautiful number ones in terms of career. One other thing that I quickly want to say is the group that you chose is the chrysoprase group. And chrysoprase is a really cool crystal because it was Alexander the Great's favorite crystal. And he conquered a lot of lands. And he actually thought that whenever he wore chrysoprase, so that crystal, he actually thought that it was the crystal that helped him conquer those lands. So chrysoprase is a very like ambitious kind of crystal, which is really weird why I like intuitively like chose that one for this group, because I don't look at the cards before seeing them on camera. Like I literally just shuffle them like this and then like lay them down in the groups, right? And somehow I was just feeling like group number one looks like a chrysoprase group just from the energy that I was feeling from the outside of the cards. But it's very interesting because that one's all about ambition, and Alexander the Great literally used that crystal to increase his ambition and also increase his odds of being able to successfully conquer lands. These cards literally wanted to fall out, I guess, so we're gonna go with it. A fiery climax approaches. Ooh. So if you've been kind of going through something where it just feels like you're at the tipping point where you know something can no longer go on the way that it always has, I really see you kind of getting to a tipping point with something. There could be something in your career right now, group number one, that might make you a little bit infuriated and almost like you're a bit ready to like pop off about something. Or this could be getting ready to take action, because Aries can also talk about taking action. But for some reason, I feel like with some of you watching this, in fact, with a lot of you, I'd say like 70% of you that are watching this right now, there's something that has been kind of building inside of you that's making you a little bit kind of like frustrated, even, is what I'm hearing from this fiery climax that's approaching. Some of you may have a little bit of like a moment where you're just like, I really need to get something off my chest within my career. I really need to like let it out, whether that just be venting to a close friend or like confronting a boss or confronting a coworker or you know, saying what's really on your mind about something. I'm definitely seeing some sort of thing that needs to get off your chest for quite a few of you. But another aspect of this card that very much is relevant for all of you is also the fact that Aries talks about a new beginning. So there is like a climax that's about to happen in your career, group one, but it's about to open up a doorway to a brand new beginning for you. The full moon in Aries is about closing out an old chapter. So I'm really feeling like there's something that's been building for maybe the past year for a lot of you. And this has really been building to the point where it's like it's reaching its peak to where we've kind of had enough and we either need to do something about it or open up a new door for ourselves. So I'm really seeing like a new door opening for you, group one, because of some kind of a fiery climax that we are sort of creating. And we can create them in positive ways. Like not all fiery climaxes have to be bad, right? We can also, fiery climaxes are also really good. You could see that as a lot of passion coming in. So I'm seeing two different aspects of this. I'm seeing a lot of passion coming in for you, group number one, but I'm also seeing that you do have to let go of some sort of frustration that you've been holding on to within your career, whether that just be letting it out through talking to a friend and venting about it, or, you know, getting some good advice. But there's always good, I just want to point out that there's always good ways of handling these situations. So, oh, and then look at our next card. Didn't even look at this one yet. Look at what this one says. Communication is key. New moon in Gemini. So this is opening up a new chapter for you in your career where communication is something that is going to help out so much. I'm really seeing that there is a huge chapter that needs to close in your career because we're needing to listen more. We're needing to listen more, and we're needing to communicate more. We're needing to be better communicators, because when we hold on to stuff, that is when we get this fiery climax, when we've been holding on for something so long to where it just pops right off, right? So for a lot of you, communication is going to be key, and learning how to communicate things, right? That's also very important, because we can't just communicate and let it come out in any which way we want, because sometimes it can come across as like word vomit, right? Communication is key, especially when it comes to how we want things to come across and what we want the outcome to be. If we want the outcome to be positive, we're going to need to approach the situation positively, even if it deals with a heavier subject. So Communication is key. I'm seeing you reaching a very much more calm place in your career in the next phase. If you look at these faces of the Gemini here, once communication is in place, look at how calm this Gemini is. Once proper communication is here and we're not like holding things back or repressing stuff or, you know, whatnot, and we actually listen to our intuition, we listen to ourselves, we become a little bit more aware of our emotions and honoring our emotions. That's also why we have water here. We need to honor our emotions, and we also need to focus on those liquid assets. Are we saving up enough money? Right? That could be an aspect of the liquid assets. And this could also be us focusing on, hey, I need to have more liquid assets, which means funds that are available right now. So maybe we're needing to focus like, hey, I need more security in my life. And that's why we have water coming up. And I do see more abundance flowing in your life because I'm seeing you being more ambitious towards getting that. And I see you being more ambitious towards communicating more clearly in order to have like a more smoother flowing career. But this could also be us just listening and honoring even ourselves. So even if you don't work for other people and maybe it's just you, this would be you listening more to yourself, more to your intuition, and communicating with yourself better, whether that be jotting down notes so that you don't forget stuff, whether that be like making sure that things get done when they get done in order to make things stay in their flow. And then we also have full moon in Leo coming up, so don't let pride get in your way, okay? So this one's coming up. So this next chapter of your life is, I think it may test your ego a little bit as we kind of enter this new chapter, but I really see this new chapter being incredibly positive. But one thing I want to mention is as you're crossing over from this chapter into the next chapter, it may test your ego a little bit because we may need to, like there's certain stuff that we need to get off our chest. It is going to require some communication. Or at least some figuring stuff out. And we're going to have to kind of humble ourselves a little bit with this full moon in Leo. The full moon in Leo is closing out a chapter of our ego, closing out a chapter of the old ways we used to communicate, closing out a chapter of thinking that we don't make any mistakes and that we're always correct, right? Like this is kind of going into the humble stages. And I think that that's going to be that doorway into the next chapter. But then this next chapter, all of a sudden things are flowing again. When we repress stuff, it can create a dam in the river. And depending on how we approach that, we can remove that dam and let things start flowing again, or we dam it up higher, depending on how we approach the obstacle or the situation. So don't let pride get in your way. Don't let your ego get in your way. Otherwise, we might be damming up that river even more and stopping it from flowing more, which I don't see you guys doing. I actually see you figuring this out very well. So I want to say kudos to you because it looks like it's going to be figured out very well for you. And it looks like flow is going to be coming back into your life. And it all relies on your ability to communicate and listen. And to pull back the ego a little bit, to humble it a little bit. And I think that is going to be what causes the best outcome for you to take place. So let's see what else Spirit has to say for my beautiful group ones. All upon your career, the next chapter of your career. So let's see, group one. The next chapter, group one. We have strength coming through, not even surprised. We also have the devil coming through. Oh, okay, so with strength talks about your emotional strength. So this is a time where we might have to put our emotions under wraps a little bit in order to communicate properly. In our career, I'm definitely seeing something where you're having to step up into more control over how you speak and over your emotions, and it's going to lead you to a better place. I'm also seeing building up your emotional strength so that you can confront a situation. We shouldn't be scared of confrontation. we can learn how to confront things in ways that are healthy, right? There's healthy confrontation, and of course there's unhealthy confrontation. And a lot of people are scared of confrontation because they are worried about the unhealthy confrontation, but there is also healthy confrontation. So I'm seeing that confrontation is going to be a big thing that may have to come up. We also have Two of Swords being reversed. That wanted to come out. So this is opening up your heart. Stop closing down. I think the closing down part that you've been doing recently in your career has been holding you back in many ways. But if we can start opening up communication, opening up these doors, that is going to be where it benefits you the most. We also have the Devil card, and the Devil card rules illusions. So there could be a certain like way that we're viewing something right now where it makes us feel like we're trapped, right? Like this merman or mermaid right here feels like she's trapped. So we may feel like we're trapped in a certain way, but it could also be our perspective making us see something this way when it's not this way, because that is what the Devil talks about. It talks about illusions, being trapped by an illusion. So there could be a lot of, I think I see a lot of like breaking out of old paradigms for you, group one. Breaking out of old paradigms that were once stopping you from more success. And I'm seeing tons more success being available to you. And I see it coming through. I'm seeing a new financial plan for a lot of you. The Water card, since it deals with, again, those liquid assets. I'm seeing a new financial plan. I'm seeing new ways of investing, new ways of saving. And I'm seeing you being able to be a lot more open with communication, open with kind of like a new you being able to come out, having the strength to kind of face certain issues. And I know how hard that can kind of sound, especially when we're like kind of scared of confrontation, and we hear like, oh no, confrontation. But you know, a lot of the times it can actually be very healing and very healthy and very good. So for you, I'm seeing this turning out very healthy and good, because I think it's going to teach a lot in the realm of like what you need to know. We also have the Seven of Swords. We're needing to be strategic here. And we may need to, okay, so the next, what I'm seeing is the doorway to the next chapter. I just want to clarify, the next chapter of your career is full of ease and ambition and motivation. The doorway to get to that next chapter, though, is going to require some strategy. And I'm seeing this being positive strategy, but I'm seeing it being something where we may have to like, we also have Three of Cups being reversed here. So we may have to tread carefully rather than kind of like letting a fiery climax happen. This is a very like Spirit is giving like a very interesting and very detailed message here. So they're getting very specific, and what I'm seeing for you, group one, is needing to tread the waters carefully, not letting it kind of like get out of control, but also not trying to control the situation. A lot of times when we try to control the situation, it doesn't end up good. But when we control ourselves, that is, you know, the one thing that we do have control over. So I'm seeing you having tons more control over your feelings, which I think is going to benefit you so much more. And I'm also seeing you have tons more control over your ability to open up and to communicate. And then the Three of Cups being reversed. That one is also very interesting. So there could be, in this next chapter of your career, I'm seeing you being a lot more like sturdy, but there's a reminder here of like celebrating your success, showing appreciation for like where you are, how far that you've come, and all of that. Because the Three of Cups, when it's reversed, is kind of when we skip out celebrating our milestones and all that we have accomplished and all that we have done, and you know, being able to recognize all of that. We also have the Nine of Swords being reversed as well. I'm seeing a lot of stress ending for you. With this Nine of Swords being reversed, this next phase of your career, there's tons of stress that is going away. You're getting something off of your shoulders. Something that's been bothering you for a while is no longer going to be bothering you. I'm seeing you being able to sleep through the night a lot easier. I'm seeing things becoming a lot clearer for you upon like the direction that you want to go in, and with what you want to create in your career. And again, that drive and motivation. I'm seeing you getting like a better night's sleep. And I think there's definitely a reminder here of like of like gratitude and patting yourself on the back. Like group number 1, I feel like a lot of you just need to pat yourself on the back and be like, you know what? I've done a lot. I've done a lot and I deserve to be happy about it and I deserve to celebrate. We also have poised. So I'm seeing you holding yourself to a higher standard in this next phase of your career. I'm seeing you holding yourself to a higher standard. And I'm seeing you actually benefiting from holding yourself to this higher standard. I'm seeing this energy of like, I'm going to strive for like excellence. I'm going to strive to get to the top. I'm going to do this. I'm going to get to the top. We also have breathe and then between worlds. So I'm seeing a shift in your career definitely happening. Something where maybe between worlds can indicate that we are switching our career. It can also indicate that maybe we have a side business that we're starting and we're kind of, you know, between worlds where we're having 2 different jobs, or making some sort of transition in our career. And I'm seeing tons more ease coming to you. The ability to breathe, the ability to just like, you know, not having so much stress weighing down on you. I'm seeing a lot of ease coming in. Okay, so let's go ahead and see what else we get. So group 1, what else do we have for my lovely group 1s? We have the Sovereign, so peace is coming to you in your career, and also manifest. So manifesting better outcomes, manifesting closer to what your actual dreams are, and, you know, being at peace. I'm seeing peace coming in your career. The ability to lead is coming up in your career as well. So if you've been feeling like you haven't been leading, or you feel kind of like not fully in control of your career, I'm seeing you being more in control of your career and you kind of like manifesting a new phase for yourself, manifesting new outcomes that are very positive, that work for you, like something that you're dreaming about, something that you're really desiring. I'm seeing you moving more into that direction. Breath of fresh air, holding yourself to a higher standard, transitioning into a more colorful world, transitioning into something that's so much better. And it comes through this ability to confront and to communicate and to listen, to recognize all the good that is with you, and to be able to push that further and to create more good, and to not be afraid of confronting the bad in order to kind of clear it out, or to clear the air, right? To clear the air, to clear the water of all of that. So now we're gonna get into some advice cards. So let's see what Spirit has for advice. We have friends. The most unlikely friendships can form like variegated lichens on a hard rock. They create a tight bond. So friends may be an important part in your career. That could be something about like who you're networking with, for example. They may be a very important part. Maybe this is also talking about being able to make friends in your career, especially if there's been a falling out, because there is the 3 of Cups being reversed, which does talk about friendships as well. And since it is reversed, this can talk about kind of like a falling out with certain friendships. You know, maybe we work with a friend or something and that's not been maybe going too hot, or maybe we don't get along with somebody in our career, whereas we could actually be friends. Like the most unlikely friendships can form. That's what that card says. So let's say you have like kind of like a work enemy, right? Somebody that you don't really like seeing every day, or even a client that you don't like working with. Anything along the lines of that. This card is so funny coming up because it says the most unlikely friendships can form, like variegated lichens on a hard rock. They create a tight bond. So the universe is reminding you that it works in funny ways, and sometimes we can become the best friends with somebody that maybe we're not getting along with. So keep an open mind, group number 1, because I feel like there could be an unlikely friendship forming in your workplace, a very unlikely friendship. We also have the word trust. A robin trusts her wings, not the branch she sits on. So this is time for you to trust yourself more than what you more than just kind of like relying on your career to make things happen for you, rather than maybe relying on your job. This is about trusting yourself. So a robin trusts her wings, not the branch she sits on. When we put trust in the external world, we can create a lot of like conflict, right? We could create a lot of scarcity. But if we can learn how to just trust ourselves and know that we have our own back, that is where the most positive experiences can take form, because we're in control of that. Because the only thing we're ever in control of in this world is ourselves. We're not in control of anybody else, ever, no matter how hard we try. And if we put all of our trust into other people, we're always going to feel unstable. We're always going to feel unstable. But when we can put our trust into ourselves, that is when we're going to feel our most stable, because it's the only thing that we can control. That's it. That's the only thing that we got. So that is basically what Spirit has to say for you, group number 1, all about the next chapter of your career. It looks like it's going to become a lot more easy, but there is a little bit of a hurdle that we have to kind of get over to get to the easy part. And I do want to remind you that in this reading, the next chapter of your career is full of ease and flow and investment and more abundance, more money coming into your life, more of that manifestation, this big shift of going into a more colorful world in your career where things just feel more abundant and more alive. But it is requiring you to be a little bit more aware and strategic when it comes to like, I need to actually like approach things with more awareness. Like the 7 of Swords is actually a very positive card in many aspects, but can also be a very negative card as well. But in terms of what I see in this reading, I'm seeing this energy of being more cautious and more aware of what we are saying so that we're not stepping on people's toes or burning bridges. I'm hearing a message here where the universe is coming through being like, do not burn bridges. We can approach things, we can have confrontations, but we should never have the intent of burning a bridge or creating more conflict than there need be, right? We can't add fuel to the fire. This right here is saying don't add fuel to the fire. It's time to put out the fires through the water, right? Through the calmness, through the connection. Water is our emotions. So through expressing our emotions, we can help put out certain fires, right? Especially if we express them in the right way. So, very interesting message. Very interesting message. Tons of goodness coming through this as you get over this hurdle, especially if you do it in a more conscious kind of way. So that's what we have for you, group number 1. The next phase is going to be full of greatness, full of good, full of like a breath of fresh air. It is literally going to feel like a breath of fresh air in this new stage and in this new phase. So that is what I'm seeing for you. I'm also seeing this poise up on a pedestal here. I'm really seeing you elevating in your career as well. So that's another thing I want to quickly point out before ending off this video. It looks like it is getting elevated. So sending you all of my love, group number 1. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, don't forget to give this video a big thumbs up for me. Hit the subscribe button down below if you want to see more videos like this in the future, because I'd love to have you there. And hopefully I see you in my next one. Bye. All right, so group number 2, if you chose this pile, then this is going to be your reading, so let's hop right into it. Okay, so group 2, we start off with the cards Mastery and Salvation. So first off, I want to start off by talking about the Salvation card actually, because salvation is kind of when we overcome hardship and we are finally like coming out of that hardship, and we're just like, salvation. We're like almost back to, good times, towards peace, towards salvation. And I'm seeing almost a vision of an oasis, kind of, where we've put a lot of work into something. And I feel like a lot of you, I'm getting this vision of like crossing a very long desert where it seems very desolate. It seems difficult and hard, but we keep pushing ourselves forward. We're like, okay, I got this. Let's just keep going. Let's just keep going. And we're really like hauling a lot. I'm seeing you hauling a lot through a desert, and then all of a sudden the Salvation card is reminding me of coming across your oasis. And it's like, oh my God, now it's finally time for a vacation. So a lot of you, I'm actually seeing, in this next chapter of your career, it is time to bask in the fruits of your labor. It is going to pay off. The next chapter of your career, group number 2, is a big payoff for something. And I'm seeing this payoff because you're learning how to overcome things and to persevere. Perseverance is a big word that I'm getting. And this mastery card, we have number 44, master number 44 at the top of this. And this is setting a new foundation for yourselves. So a lot of you in this next phase of your career, you are coming to a point of being so much more confident in your skills and your abilities, and you're much more confident in them because you're getting through some tough desert right now. And the desert is reminding me of like when we're not maybe making as much money as we used to, or we feel like somehow it's like a bit more dry, like it's a bit of a dry period in our career. Maybe it was less passionate, maybe there was less going on, but you're coming to a point of mastery because there's no way to become a master without going through hardship, right? Like if you're trying to become a painter and say you make mistakes, a master knows how to take those mistakes and create beauty out of them, to create it into anything that he or she envisions, right? So that's the definition of a master. They've been through so many mistakes that when they go through a mistake again in the future, they're a master, so they know exactly how to change up around that situation in order to work for their benefit, in order to work in their favor. Kind of like I'm hearing Bob Ross, Bob Ross coming through, where he's like, there's no such thing as mistakes, just happy accidents. So I know painting and how painting, you know, correlates to the real world is a little bit different, but at the same time, the same concept can be used as truth. When you are a master, getting through any obstacle is so much easier. And I'm seeing that you are getting through a big obstacle, and that's why we have that salvation card. And then that mastery, it's almost like you're looking at all that and you're like, holy dang, look at that. And you've gained so much knowledge through this time. This next chapter, I'm seeing you putting on like a graduation cap almost. And some of you, that could be literal. That could be like literally putting on a graduation cap ready to graduate from learning. But for a lot of you, I'm also seeing this energy of like putting on your graduation cap, but more in the sense of finally being very confident in your skills and also taking them to the next level. I see a lot of you taking whatever your career is right now and going to next level. This could mean a promotion for a lot of you. This could mean like starting literally a new chapter in your career. And it's something that you are really proud of. This mastery is something that you're proud of. Some of you could be even like winning an award in your career. When we think about mastery, it's something that usually deserves recognition. So there could be some sort of recognition that you are going to get in your career, some sort of praise or some sort of like, you know, notability where people are like, hey, this deserves an award, for example. Or, you know, there's some sort of notability happening in your career, group number 2. And that's why we have this mastery card. You are being noticed for something, recognized for something, whether that be, you know, in your career, maybe your boss is like, you know, you've been doing a really good job and you deserve a promotion right now. Or this could be like, you know, maybe you've been trying to really do something and you end up winning an award for it, or, you know, all sorts of different things here. Putting on the graduation cap. There's some sort of award that I'm seeing in this next phase of your career, or at least some sort of reward in some way. So yes, the 4 and the 4 as well equal an 8. And the 8s deal with really good luck. And they deal with taking a risk, but the risk ends up being like worth the reward. And it's also a very steady and stable foundation where we receive a lot. The 8s are also where we receive. And usually it means a lot of abundance, and it's very connected to wealth. So some of you, there could be like a new phase in your career where you're making more money, is what I'm seeing for a lot of you, is making more money and having a much more solid and reliable foundation in your career. Also, there's a card here that I think is like turned backwards. I feel like I just saw a card that was like turned backwards, but I could be wrong. But it was like a pink card. I don't know if like my eyes deceive me here. I don't know what's happening, but anyway, we're gonna keep shoveling it. Clearly the color pink is a sign, because that like I saw it for some reason, like within these cards. Literally, we also have the card luck is on your side, and 8s are the lucky number. And we were just talking about 8, so that's interesting. But back to the pink thing. Pink is when we awaken our inner passions. Pink is the color of calmness and also connecting your heart deeply to something. It's also very romantic as well, so that could just be pointing to like falling deeper in love with your career or falling deeper in love with something that you're about to do or study. Or there could be even a new passion awakening within you that helps you excel your career more. But let's talk about these cards. So new moon in Sagittarius, look at bow and arrow. We are aiming towards something. Some of you may be about to take a risk on something and you're wondering how that's going to turn out. And this is saying like luck is on your side with whatever this kind of risky thing is. Like maybe we're going to shoot for something further than what we thought. Maybe we're going to go for something a little bit bigger than what we kind of maybe first anticipated. And it seems like, you know, even if you shoot for a certain goal, you're going to at least get a lot closer to it by shooting further than if you play it safe. So for example, Spirit is showing me like playing golf, for example. Or let's use the example of the bow and the arrow, since that literally is depicted right here. If you are about to shoot a bow and an arrow and you only believe that you can make it 3 feet, so you're only aiming 3 feet ahead of you, you're likely only ever going to get 3 feet ahead of you. It's likely not going to go further than that if you are only aiming 3 feet ahead of you. But if you aim further, let's say you aim 40 feet ahead of you, and let's say you really don't believe that you can get 40 feet ahead and you're like, that's a real long shot right there. I don't know if I'm gonna make that. But if you're aiming for that, you're definitely gonna get a lot further than if you only aim 3 feet ahead of you. So even if you don't make it to the 40 feet, you're still getting hella closer or hella farther at least than you would if you only aimed 3 feet ahead of you. So one thing that I'm seeing in your career for this next chapter of your career, group number 2, is I see that you're aiming for more than you even thought. I'm seeing you almost taking a risk or a chance on something to like really shoot for something bigger. And I'm seeing it either 100% working for you, or at the very least, you're getting very, very, very close to what you aimed for, which is still more than what you previously thought. Okay, so great card to be coming out. The next one that we have is the end of a tough cycle approaches, full moon in Capricorn. So full moons are all about closing out old chapters, and in Capricorn, that is definitely the ending of a tough cycle. If you felt like you've been climbing a mountain and it has felt like a mountain to you, the end of a tough cycle approaches, okay? Luck is on your side. You are shooting for something further. You're shooting for something bigger, and we are ending a harder time. And then we also have full moon in Taurus. Your dreams need a practical plan. So a lot of you are like, it's time to actually start making a plan. The full moon in Taurus is also making me think of a new financial plan for a lot of you, because Taurus does connect to our finances and our money, and also our material world. So some of you, there may be certain material goals that you really desire, and I'm seeing that you are, in this next chapter of your career, you're actually more focused on the more logical, analytical stuff, because you have big dreams. One thing I can see with this new moon in Sagittarius, you got some big dreams there, group number 2. And you have a wide sense of curiosity, but we need to pair that with practicality in order to fully get there. We need to pair it with action, with real world kind of stuff in order to get there. So I'm really seeing you kind of creating like a new, foundation for yourself. Oh my gosh, I don't know why I'm yawning right now. It's like 3 p.m. in the day, but here I am yawning. Yawning can also indicate, like some of you may be going through a time in your life where maybe you've been feeling a little bit more tired lately. I always take, like, anytime my body does something when I'm doing readings, I always take it as signs for the reading. So we're just gonna go into it. So some of you may have been feeling a little bit more tired lately. I am seeing the end of that coming up for you. And I'm also seeing this energy of pushing through stuff. This next phase of your life is like really pushing through in order to get to the other side of the mountain. And trust me, once you do, you get to the oasis, just like we were talking about in the beginning. So Spirit right now is coming through being like, keep going. Your oasis is right over the next hill. It's right over the next And then there's your oasis. So yeah, I'm definitely seeing you reaching that oasis, and there's this energy of like, don't give up, don't tire yourself out. Like, of course, don't reach burnout either. We can't just like 100% full force go. So that's not what I'm saying at all. But what I'm saying is Spirit is definitely giving this message of like, don't give in to quitting. Okay? Spirit wants a big message right now to you of like, do not give up, do not quit, because your oasis is like right there. But if you quit now, if you quit while you're ahead, you're gonna have a lot of catching up to do in the future. So do not quit, okay? So with that being said, let's go ahead and get into some of the tarot cards to see what else Spirit has to say. For the next chapter of your career, group 2, we have the Tower being reversed. It's time to rebuild. Some of you may have gone through a bit of a loss, maybe, or maybe you've gone through like a change in your mind about something. Maybe you've gone through lots of different changes within the past like couple of years within your career. And maybe some of them have been quite unexpected for you, or maybe you're about to go through another big change. Like maybe there's like a move happening, or maybe there's like some other big changes happening in your life. And the Tower being reversed is actually a great card because it talks about rebuilding and building a new solid foundation that you can truly rely on. So I'm seeing that also the lessons that you've been learning, this tough cycle that you've been going through, you've learned so many lessons through that tough cycle, so much. You've learned so much. You're a completely different person today than who you were before this tough cycle. This tough cycle has taught you a lot about what you need to know in your career. And because of that, you are now building on a much more solid foundation. Your vision for the future, your vision for what you need moving forward is so much more clear because of what you've learned. So this next chapter for you is going to be so much like easier in terms of like what you've currently been going through. Like the end of that cycle is literally right here. You no longer have to go through those same lessons because you learned them. And as long as you just keep implementing those lessons of what you've learned over the past couple years, you're going to be golden, group number 2. And you literally chose like a gold colored crystal for your pile. So yeah, I mean, you're going to be golden. So let's see what else we get for my lovely group 2s all about the next chapter in their career. Much more collaboration, that's for sure. 3 of Pentacles coming up. So for a lot of you, this is being able to take like, some of you, this is taking the opinions of others into account in order to improve on something. I'm seeing improvement through taking the feedback of other people. I am seeing much more dedication to working. Much more detail-oriented as well. You're getting more detail-oriented. And you're more open to fixing certain things and to working, to creating a more harmonious work environment. Also, a lot of you are open to mastery at this point. A lot of you really want to master something. You want to be very good at it. The only way to be very good at it is to also kind of get feedback and to see where you can improve. I'm seeing a lot of improvement. I'm seeing a lot of you also like studying deeper, studying so much deeper, maybe even getting like a mentor or like talking to people that you really look up to, for example, in order to get more information or more feedback. I'm definitely seeing this desire for improvement though. A big desire for improvement, and I'm seeing this next chapter leading you towards mastery because of this openness and willingness to hear maybe what others have to say, or to actually start to implement like the criticism maybe that we've even gotten. So I'm seeing that being something that's like going to work out greatly to your benefit. I see you very much ready to like step things up. Ooh, and we have the 9 of Cups. I love that coming up. Okay, so the 9 of Cups, this is reaching you towards a much bigger goal and finally reaching a much bigger goal. The 9 of Cups is something that we've been wishing for that all of a sudden we attain, and we're really proud of it. We're like, look at what we've done. Look at what this is. Look at the outcome. There is something that you are working on. There's something that maybe you even need other people to create, to help you create it. So some of you maybe thinking about an idea in your career, but maybe we need to work with other people in order to fully bring this vision to life. And I'm seeing you really doing that. I'm seeing you meeting all the right people that you need to in order to get the information that you need, in order to get the things done that you need to get done. And I'm seeing you sitting on your throne being like, look at this, look at what I just did, and look at what I got done. Some of you need to have a bit more of like a schedule though. The King of Pentacles is reversed here. So some of you need to implement a bit more. You need to kind of like really take control, step up into the mature frame. Some of you may not think that you are like old enough to be doing this. Some of you might have like a insecurity around age or around experience. And some of you are like, I can't be a master. Like, I'm not 60 years old with a beard yet. Like, I can't be a master. What are you talking about? But in order to reach that mastery, we need to have that sense of like openness, willingness to learn, right? But we also still need to have the confidence. We need to have enough confidence to still go out there and to think that we are worthy enough to become masters. We need to have that amount of curiosity, that amount of openness, that amount of confidence, but also that same amount of humbleness of knowing that we're still open to learning, okay? We also have the Nine of Swords and then the Empress that came out here. So with the Nine of Swords, I'm seeing a chapter closing for you, one that was very hard, one that maybe gave you like sleepless nights. I'm seeing the ending of worrying. And I'm seeing this opening of tons more abundance, like a really fruitful time. And again, the Empress is like this oasis card. And so is the Nine of Cups. You're really going to be entering the oasis phase of your life where it feels like there's a lot more abundance surrounding you. And the Empress is also very connected with Venus, which is connected to money. So I'm seeing more money coming in for a lot of you. I'd say all of you. All of you, there's much more money coming in. It's because you're more focused on detail. Some of you may even be interested in teaching, by the way. Some of you could also be the teacher. Some of you have gotten to the point where you're ready to be a teacher. And that is the next phase of your career, is stepping into that teacher position. Stepping into like, I know enough to where I'm confident enough to actually teach others about what I know. So I'm definitely seeing that for you as well. We also have acceptance. So accepting, you know, like where you are, accepting yourself for who you are rather than, you know, doubting yourself or holding yourself back. Kind of just accepting. I'm also seeing kind of like accepting your past as what it was and returning it to some love. I'm seeing passion awakening in you a lot more, and I'm seeing you being able to follow those passions. I'm seeing you kind of like becoming more accepting of your career in certain ways and falling back in love with certain aspects of it as well. So that's really positive right there. Definitely more passion coming into your life. Let's see what else this next phase holds for my beautiful group twos. Let's see, group two. What else about group twos in next chapter in career? Those two definitely wanting to come out. Reclaim, so reclaiming your power, your energy, especially if you've kind of like started doubting yourself recently. We also have the Universe, so you're very much in control. This is a card that reminds you how much that you're in control of your life. You are the weaver of your reality, and I see that you're going to be weaving a new story for yourself, especially in terms of career, and I see you taking more control of it. Taking more control of your career rather than letting it control you. You're literally reclaiming your power and reclaiming your ability to call the shots and to realize like, hey, I get to choose what career I have. I get to choose what I do with it. I get to choose what my future is going to look like. And a lot of you, I think, are making certain shifts in order to create like a new future in your career. Let's see what else we get here. So these are just some advice cards to end us off in this reading. So group 2, we have a lot. Look at how many advice cards wanted to come out there that didn't want to go back in the, we're just going to go through it. Let's do it. So we have let go. Enjoy the pulsing light of the firefly, but don't hold on too tight. So there could be something that you feel like you are ready to let go of in your career, like a certain phase of your career that you're kind of ready to just like let go of. And this is saying like, enjoy the pulsing light of the firefly, enjoy what you've created, appreciate it, have gratitude for it, but you don't need to hold on to it, at least not too tightly anymore. Learn, so take a lesson from the owls, deeply observe the night, and you'll become a little wiser in the day. So I'm definitely seeing like learning opportunities coming up for a lot of you. This could be like going back to school. This could be you teaching as well. And I'm also seeing learning from that big obstacle again. Then we also have the night card. So find comfort in the night where the world switches off and the stars burn bright. So I'm seeing like a lot of reflection, especially in terms of, finding out like, what do I not know? What should I know? What can I do to like improve and kind of get to that next level? We also have journey coming up. So branch out to new worlds. I mean, I'm not even surprised that one like is here. Then we have kindness. Take respite by a pond and be kind to yourself and others. Then we have time. Embrace the dewdrops of life before they disappear with the morning sun. Wow. So enjoy where you are right now before you're not going to be there anymore. At least enjoy it while you can. That's a powerful message. Even if you're going into a new phase that you're more excited about, enjoy the journey on the way there as well. We also have retreat. Some of you, I'm hearing that you, when I looked at this card, some of you I'm like journey and retreat. Some of you actually may have travel connected to work coming up very soon. Some of you may actually be going on a retreat. Some of you may be creating a retreat. Some of you may be like traveling for work in some way. Okay. This could also be like paid vacation time or an exciting travel connected to work. So this card says, spoil yourself in the morning mist, breathe in nature's sweet scents. Yes. I'm definitely seeing like enjoying your time more, especially when it comes to work and career, like having more balance in your life. But I'm definitely also seeing a work trip, a very fun work trip kind of like coming up. So that is what we have for your next phase in your career, your next chapter in your career, group number 2. So I hope you enjoyed this reading. If you did, don't forget to give this video a big thumbs up for me. Hit the subscribe button down below if you want to see more videos like this in the future, because I'd love to have you there. And hopefully I see you in my next video. Bye. Okay, so group 3, if you chose this pile, then this is going to be your reading. So let's get right into it. Okay, so group number 3, we have 2 different cards for you. We have liberation and the in-between. So when we're talking about the next chapter in your career, liberation and the in-between is definitely making me feel like there's some sort of transition that is about to happen in your career. For example, you might be in between jobs, or you might be in transition in something. Maybe you're ready to kind of go to the next level and we're kind of like waiting for things to happen, or we're kind of in that in-between stage of planning something. So if you own your own business, this is possibly like in between the stages of planning something new, or in between a very big transition in your business. Or if you work for another company, or if you're in school or something like that, I'm definitely seeing that the next chapter for you is this stepping stone of kind of transitioning into a new area. And you're also being liberated from something as well, the fact that we have liberation here. When we're being liberated for something, I'm seeing you letting go of some kind of weight, or something that's maybe been kind of holding you back in some way in your career. So I'm seeing a definite end to something that's kind of been going on in your career. So maybe you're being liberated from like constantly doing studies and schoolwork and stuff like that. Or maybe you're being liberated from a certain situation that's maybe been bothering you a little bit within your career. So if you've kind of been stuck in a certain position for a long time, I'm seeing that shifting. So whatever position that you have been in, I'm absolutely seeing you overcoming that and getting to a new level. So this could even indicate like promotions, or going on the next phase, the next chapter, which is exactly, again, kind of what we're talking about here, is the next chapter of your career. But I'm absolutely seeing you being liberated from something, and this next chapter is allowing you to become more free and more open in this new chapter. You are being liberated. You are letting go of whatever's been kind of weighing you down. And then again, that in-between card, there's definitely some kind of transition that I feel like you're about to go through. I also feel like this next chapter for you is going to be a very interesting chapter. So group 3. This next chapter that you're about to step into in your career is not your final chapter, nor is it going to be your biggest chapter by any means. The in-between is making me feel like this is a stepping stone. The next chapter that you have in your career is a stepping stone for something much, much, much bigger. It is something that's preparing you. So if you think that you're about to step into like a new phase of being like, oh my gosh, this is a position I was always dreaming about, or this is something that I've always really wanted to do. If that's what you're thinking, universe and the spirit is coming through right now to be like, just wait, it gets better. It gets better. So this next chapter that you're about to head into is this stepping stone to something much bigger. It is this stepping stone on your journey to your beautiful oasis or beautiful destination, waterfall situation. Although something interesting that I'm hearing for you is there's almost no end to your journey. And for you, it seems like there's only ever like climbing the ladder to more and kind of like achieving more throughout your career. And so there's a lot of stepping stones for you. So even when you get to your oasis, there's something else there for you as well. I'm seeing like an adventurous spirit kind of coming out for you, and something that's more creative coming out as well. And this in-between is definitely making me feel like this next chapter for you, although it's such an amazing chapter on its own and it's such a big accomplishment and you should be proud of yourself, it is not the end goal, and there is so much more here for you. So that is one thing that I want to point out here with these two cards. So with that being said, let's get into some more of our tarot here. Or I guess these are oracle cards, but let's see what else we have for my lovely group 3s, all about the next chapter in your career. For group 3, let's see. I'm also seeing like a very determined kind of spirit coming out in you. You're really ready for this next phase. That's one thing I can definitely tell you by looking at the Kali spirit. You are absolutely more than ready for this next stage in your life. I see tons more determination, and like you're very ready to take on this new stage. Like you're ready for more, and the universe is like, all right, let's dive into more here. And I think you're about to do tons of big learning. We also have communication is key coming up, the new moon in Gemini. So for you, when I see this card coming up, this is making me feel like you're going to be very interested in diving deeper into learning. And I'm also seeing that networking is going to be important for you as well. I think you're going to meet somebody very new and significant in this next stage of your career that might end up helping boost your career in some way, or they just might offer like inspiration and support. But there is somebody that I think you are meeting that is connected to your career somehow, that is going to be really close to you in this new stage of your career. We also have a new romantic cycle begins, new moon in Libra. That one's interesting because Libra and liberation. The word liberation is actually derived from the word Libra because it's about the scales, so the weight. So again, the weight that we're carrying, you guys are dropping off a big weight, and you're also kind of getting what's fair. I think a lot of you have been putting a lot of work in your career and a lot of focus in that direction. And the scales are balancing out. So if you've been putting a lot of effort and not reaping a lot of rewards from it, the liberation is also about balancing those scales. You are freeing yourself from the things that were not fair, and you are going to be freeing yourself from the things that were not equal for you and that didn't actually serve a good benefit for you. You deserve to be compensated the same amount that you are giving in, right? And vice versa. So I'm really seeing for you is liberating yourselves from things that are not really giving you what you need, but I'm also kind of seeing like being rewarded karmically for all that you've put into something if you did not get what is fair back out of it. So I'm definitely seeing this balancing of the scales. So anything that was not fair is there's like debt to be repaid, for example, or like, yeah, just the balancing of it out. So if you've been putting in so much work, I'm definitely seeing that being repaid. So there is like energy and I feel like resources almost owed that are going to get balanced out in this next chapter. Then we also have the mutable moon, so nothing is yet set in stone. Ooh. So I'm really seeing you opening up. This new chapter is very much open for you to begin becoming much more creative. So what do you really, really want, group number 3? What do you really, really want in your career? Because it's almost like it's not fully defined for you, which is probably why it hasn't been fully defining itself in the present moment for you. Because we're needing to figure it out deeper. Maybe we're needing to look at details. That's why I have Gemini. We're needing to be a little bit more curious. And the new romantic cycle, this is a new cycle. There's new passions that are going to arise for you. So group 3, there's a new passion that is coming into your life, because when we think about romance, but in terms of career, that would equate to something that we're really passionate about. So this new chapter in your career is going to open up a new interest and a new passion for you, but nothing is yet set in stone, because we're needing to think about it deeper, we're needing to learn more about it, and we're needing to really dive into it more. And then that way it's more defined. And then that way we're going to fully begin to create something a lot more physical and a lot more structured, because the more detailed we are about something, the less we leave up to interpretation. It's just like when you're explaining an idea. Say you have an idea and you're going to a manufacturer to create that idea, and say you go with that idea and you're like, oh, I want to create like, I don't know, let's say you're creating a snake ring, okay? It's actually a real experience that I've had. Anyway, let's say you're creating a snake ring and you're like, ooh, I want there to be a snake ring because it's like the Kundalini, and so make me a snake ring. But let's say you don't talk about how it wraps around, you don't talk about how it's gonna like adjust, you don't talk about, is there any gemstones in it, is it gold, is it silver, is it what, is it what, is it what? If we leave it up to interpretation, that manufacturer is gonna take that idea and like fill in the blanks basically. And that's what the universe does, and that's what our life does as we go about things without being super detailed, right? But then there's, of course, sometimes we can get way too detailed to where it's like just unachievable, and it's like, okay, what? I believe that anything is truly achievable, but sometimes it can create more harm to be overly detailed, you know, to the point where it's just like, ooh, that 100th of a millimeter there needs to be shaved off. Like that's excessive, and we're never going to get things done. So when we go into too much perfectionism, things never get done. There's a happy medium between like, let's get detailed enough to where the idea actually manifests how we are picturing it and how we want it. But at the same time, let's not get overly too detailed to the point where we're like, you know, focused on like, oh, this little piece right here is like, oh no, you know. Like, of course, nothing's gonna get done at that point. Or if we're being too perfectionist of like, oh, I'm making this video, but then my voice cracked at like 20 minutes in. Like, scrap the whole video. Like, you know what I mean? Like, nothing's gonna get done when we're too hard on ourselves. So the universe has a very particular message for you about balance here. Okay, because Libra is coming up a lot. Liberation, this Libra balancing scales energy is coming up a lot for you. So group 3. The spirit and the universe has like a secret message for you. And your secret message is, let's get way more detailed about what it is that we actually want, but don't let the details stand in the way of you actually achieving it and actually doing it and putting it out there, right? So I want my video to come out really good, but if my voice cracks at 20 minutes in, I'm not scrapping the video, it is still going out, like, it's okay. So let's be detailed about what we want it to be like, but not overly detailed to where it hinders us and stops us, okay? So we do need to be more detailed. What is it that you actually want in your career? What does that very specifically look like? Do we want to work for a company where we are treated like blank, or do we want to work for a company that we're treated like blank? Or do we want to create a business that goes really smoothly and we're more detail oriented and we can actually like really focus on that? Bam. Or do we want a business that is just free flowing and we don't know what we're doing and it can go in any direction at any time? Bam. You know, so What do you really want? What does that look like? What do you want to create in your career? What does that look like? What do you want to be known for in your career, if that's something that's relevant? Like, what is it that you want to define yourself as, and what do you want to create? So nothing is yet set in stone. You have the mutable moon, which is such a beautiful card, because this talks about the fact that you are very much in control of whatever the outcome ends up being. Things are mutable right now for you. It's moldable. You can mold the clay into whatever you want. The clay is soft right now in your career, group number 3. That is what Spirit is trying to let you know. The clay is soft and you can mold it into anything, but you need to commit to it. That's another thing. You need to very much commit to it, rather than staying in the in-between, rather than staying in limbo, right? Because sometimes the Libra energy can be hard at making decisions, and it's always stuck in the in-between. It's like, do I choose this or do I choose that? Some of you may be stuck in the middle of a choice. Some of you may be stuck, do I start with this or do I start with that? Or do I go in this direction or do I go in that direction? Some of you are kind of stuck on a decision. Nothing is yet set in stone. And so one thing that's really important, and again, we have that Gemini energy. We have this duality energy showing up here. And this all talks about that kind of like, like we're humming and hawing. Do I want this? Do I want that? So the next chapter is about you really beginning to define what it is that you want and the direction that you want to go in. I'm also hearing October 19th and October 25th are oddly significant dates, whatever that ends up meaning for you. So yeah, this is about making decisions though. This is about making decisions, because that's going to be what takes you to the next level in your career. So let's go ahead and shuffle our tarot to see what else we get for you. Let's see here. So group 3, tell me more about this next chapter for group 3. We have the Hermit. So we're needing to explore deeper within ourselves, first of all. And this next chapter is about you exploring deeper in yourselves. We also have the Chariot being reversed. So some of you have not been taking action yet because it hasn't been fully figured out. And so we're wondering, where is my motivation? Where is my drive? Where's my direction? Some of you are feeling a little bit lost on direction. And Spirit is coming through right now to tell you that the direction feels lost because we need to do some soul searching. Do some soul searching, because right when it becomes more defined, that's going to be when our decision becomes a lot easier. That's going to be where it becomes clear, because right now it's saying it could go in either direction. Right now you're looking for an answer and you're like, but which one is the right direction? The universe right now is like, either one. It depends which one you want. So which one do you want? Like, which one do you want to do? How do you want it to turn out? What resonates the most with you? Okay. So we're needing to do some soul searching to figure that out. We also have the Two of Wands being reversed. So some of you are not ready to maybe let go of your current way of being, your current career, your current place. Some of you are not ready to let go of that. Some of you are not quite ready to begin the new journey, and it might be because, again, it's not like fully defined. So we're needing to kind of stay where we're at a little bit longer in order to figure it out. So this next chapter is you figuring it out. And right when it's figured out, guess what? There's a whole brand new door opening for you, okay? So the next chapter is that in-between. The in-between and the Two of Wands being reversed and the Chariot being reversed. All of this deals with the two energy of different directions. The Chariot deals with different directions. Two of Wands deals with different directions. The Libra is different directions. The in-between, it's like I'm in between this or that. The Gemini is the two different directions. There's so much here talking about that there's two different directions we could go in. But it's really, nothing's yet set in stone. The outcome is really up to us. We're creating the outcome as we create how we go about something. The way we take action affects the outcome of it. It's not the choice that determines the outcome. So a big thing that Spirit wants you to know this right now. Right now, I think a lot of you are having a tough time deciding what direction to go in, because you're thinking like, oh, this or this. If only I could know the outcome of these, then I would know my answer. But the weird thing is, group 3, Both this and this have the potential to have a bad outcome and a good outcome. Both of them have the potential to have a bad or good outcome. It depends how we take action in either of these directions. So it's not the choice that determines the outcome. It is how you take action upon the choice that will determine the outcome. If we take action on this choice, being really reluctant and hesitant and scared of it going wrong, the likelihood of us making a mistake actually increases. Because if we're expecting to make a mistake, that stress, the amount of emotional and mental stress that we put on ourselves by fearing that so much, actually creates the likelihood of it happening. But, we could also go in this direction with the idea that we're going to figure it out. It's going to be great. We could go in that direction with a lot of positivity and a lot of motivation, drive, and determination. And this could potentially lead us to one of the best outcomes. It depends how we take action. So right now, we're needing to do some soul searching to figure out what is it that we really want. Because as we define that more, that's going to be when we start etching it into stone. The stone is completely clear, and we're looking at the stone being like, stone, tell me which direction is meant for me. What direction am I supposed to go in? And the stone is like, I don't know, you tell me. You tell me what direction you want to go in. You're the one that has to write it down. You're the one that has to write the story. You're the one with the typewriter writing the story. The page is not going to tell you what to write. But we're looking at the page being like, page, tell me what I need to write. No, we're writing. We're the ones writing it, okay? So the universe right now is reminding you that you are writing your own story. So don't look at the choices trying to figure out which is the best outcome. Both of them have the potential to have equally good outcomes. It's not the choice that matters. It's how we go about the choice. It's the action we take towards the choice that matters. So random side message there. Hopefully that resonated and offered some guidance. We also have the 10 of Cups here. This next chapter, this in-between, this can lead you to some of the best success of your life. It again depends how we take action on it. The 10 of Cups is us finding true fulfillment. And it's also when we get like the rainbow after the rainfall. It's our pot of gold. It's leading us to our pot of gold. This is when we start celebrating. There's something big to celebrate here. This could also indicate like graduations. This can indicate opening a business and it doing really well. This can indicate starting a new job and the community there and everybody is super great. And it's like the finalizing of a certain chapter in order to begin a new one. So you're in the in-between stage of like creating this new chapter. You're literally in the chapter of creating a new chapter, if that makes sense. That's the chapter you're on. That is your next chapter. Your next chapter is the creation of your next chapter. So very interesting. We also have the Queen of Swords being reversed. So some of you may be questioning your logic, or some of you may be questioning like, oh, I need to have it all figured out logically. It needs to make sense logically. I need to know the entire roadmap. Some of you are waiting to like read your own story. You know what? I keep getting this image. I keep getting this image of a book, and it's the book of your life, okay? It's like the book of your life, and you're turned, like partway through it, and you're like turning the page being like, what's on the next page? I need to know what direction to go in. What's on the next page? But the storybook only writes itself when you take action. Every time you take action, that's when the storybook writes itself. And it's like you're writing the story as you take action. The story is not predetermined. It's not pre-written. But we're almost looking at our story being like, it is pre-written. What is the outcome of this? How do I know what direction to go in? And the storybook's there trying to remind you, like, I only write myself once you take action. Once you do something, that is when the story gets written. There's no predetermined outcome for you. It is really up to you. That is the message I'm getting from this Queen of Swords being reversed. That is the message I'm getting from all of these kind of like choice cards being overturned. It's because we're waiting to see the outcome before taking action. And there's such a big reminder here that the outcome is very much undefined and undetermined, and it all depends on how we take action. Because again, the outcome is not defined by the choice. It is defined by the way we decide to take action on that choice. So, interesting little side messages there. I'm definitely seeing a huge success though for you, which is so interesting. I'm seeing like, you know, it doesn't really almost matter what you choose because it looks like there's ultimate success for you depending on how you go about it. So listen to your heart. Tune into your heart. What is it that you really want? This next chapter for you is the soul searching, to figure out who you really are, to begin to define who you really are. What really resonates with your soul? Okay, and it's up to you. That's the thing, is you don't need to search for it externally. You need to search for it internally and ask yourself, what do I really want? Because you are the creator of it. It's not the universe that created it for you. It is you that's creating it, okay? So there's a reminder. There's no need to search for it externally. There's no need to ask other people, like, what do you think I should do? Or, you know, looking for signs externally. This is something internally to ask yourself, what makes me feel the most fulfilled? Okay? We also have the tribe. So this next chapter is also about you making new connections, which is something that I was feeling with this new moon in Gemini card. There's a new friendship that's coming for you in this next chapter that this person's going to very much resonate with you and almost very much like inspire you in the direction of your career, because it's almost like maybe they're on a similar path. So I'm definitely seeing an important person coming into your life in this next chapter. And then we also have a higher power. This, to me, is your higher self coming through. It can also be God, the universe, however you want to describe that. A lot of you are looking for like the answer outside of yourself. Again, kind of like I was saying. And the interesting thing is that the answer really truly lies within you. Okay? You are that higher power that you're seeking right now. You are that. Because all of us, you know, whether you believe in God or the universe or whatever you believe in, all of us are part of that. Otherwise we would not exist. We all are, you know, pieces of that. So the higher power that you seek is truly within you, and it's been within you the whole time. So that's a interesting message to go into right there, but let's see what else we get for you. So group 3, what else is the next chapter of group 3's career? Wide open, so being much more open to possibility. I'm seeing you being so much more open to possibility and towards your own potential. We also have rescue and rock bottom. So some of you very much fear losing everything. Some of you fear making a choice because you fear that it's not going to turn out good enough. I'm seeing you letting go of that in this next chapter and really needing to face that and confront that, and to believe that something better exists for you. There's almost fear in going in a certain direction or making a decision because we're scared of reaching rock bottom. We're scared of failure. And what I can tell you about this next chapter for you, this is about overcoming that. It's about making that bridge. Look at this bridge. I was literally thinking bridge in my head, and then I looked at this card for some reason and it has a bridge on it. That's so weird. Okay, so I wasn't even thinking that there was a bridge on this card because in the normal depiction of this card, there is not a bridge on the 10 of Cups. But the interesting thing that I'm seeing for you is this next chapter is about learning that you don't need to fall into rock bottom. You can create a bridge over rock bottom and never touch it. And you're probably wondering, okay, how do I do that? This depends on your determination to get to your goal. When you say that there's like literally, you know, like the Grand Canyon in front of you, and you're like, how do I get over that? If you are determined to get over that, you are going to find a way, whether that be creating a plane or creating like a jetpack or creating a bridge, right? There's all sorts of different things that we can do to create ways to get over something, ways to get through something. There's always options, there's always ways. I'm also seeing that you are overcoming if some of you have gone through a rock bottom in your career, this next chapter is about you getting past that. This next chapter is about you being wide open and completely getting out of that and finding the ways and the means of getting out of that. This next chapter in your career is all about you figuring out how to get past that. But again, the outcome of this is up to you and how you take action. The outcome is not determined by your choice. There is no wrong choice here. The outcome is determined by the action you take within that choice. Okay? And then how you go about that choice. What resonates deeply with your soul? What do you truly want? Okay? So with that being said, let's get into our last two decks of cards. I'm also going to restart my camera because it is about to cut out. Okay. Let's see here. Okay, let's see. Group 3. What else do we have for group 3? We have the revolutionary. So if you believe that something is not possible, the thing is you could create revolutions. You can create something that's completely like revolutionary, literally. Like, so, when it comes to your ability to get through something, I'm seeing you creating something brand new. I'm seeing you also not necessarily following in the exact footsteps of other people. I'm seeing you really creating something new, creating something that's a revolution, something that's like, wow, we've never really seen that before. This is revolutionary. So I'm definitely seeing you lighting a spark in yourself. I'm seeing the next chapter being able to light that spark for you. We also have the underworld and surrender. So some of you have hit rock bottom in your career at some point, or within wondering in yourself if you're, making the right choice or something. Some of you have definitely hit some kind of rock bottom where you've been questioning yourself, or you've been questioning your path. And for those of you that feel that way, the underworld coming up is a very special card, because it reminds us that when we hit rock bottom, when you're at rock bottom, literally, and you're a rock underneath the earth, that is literally where diamonds are found and created. That's where they're created, under that much pressure. If you've been feeling like you've been under a lot of pressure lately in your career or in your financial world, or even mentally, emotionally, spirit is coming through right now, and spirit is being so compassionate right now. I'm feeling some like very nurturing energy. Spirit is giving you a hug right now, okay? Oh, I'm getting goosebumps. Spirit is giving you a hug because under that much pressure that you are right now, that's where stuff like this is formed. That's where literal gems are formed. And these are worth so much, like gems that you put on jewelry and all of that. Like, that's what our currency was really made from, was from like gold and silver and gemstones and things like that. They had a lot of value, right? And they still even hold tons of value even today. So the odd thing is like I could give you, like a piece of like lava, and to a lot of people it's kind of like, eh. But then once you put that lava under so much pressure to the point where it is creating diamonds out of those minerals, that's when people are like, ooh, la la, like, what is these? So like for you, the pressure that you're under right now, spirit is giving you a hug, being like, you are becoming a gem. Like, you are becoming your own diamond, emerald, ruby. Like, you are forming into that right now. So just realize that this is actually creating you and building your character. And it is helping you become more. So see it as a gift, because, all those minerals under that much pressure are probably like, what the hell is going on over here? Like, I want anything but out of this, right? But the odd thing is like, it's also such a gift. So what you may be going through right now, even though you do not probably see it as a gift, especially like hardship, it's hard to see hardship as a gift, but there's a reminder from spirit that it has been a gift to you. Ooh, and then we have I almost forgot we had the surrender card sitting underneath that. It is time for us to surrender to this and accept it, right? So accept where you are right now. And through that acceptance, that is going to be where we can do that real soul searching so that we can find out what direction we really want to go in, so that we can make that next step, so that we don't have fear upon making that next step. I think a lot of you actually, if there wasn't fear holding you back, a lot of you already know the direction you'd want to go in. That's an interesting message I'm just feeling from this right now. A lot of you, so group 3, if there was not fear to hold you back, I think your choice would become a lot clearer of what you want to do. So for a moment, sit there and imagine that there was no fear in the world. Imagine that all the outcomes were super positive. What do you now really want to do? What does that open up for you? What option does that open up for you? And Spirit is saying that that's something that's really sitting within you. And so this next chapter is about planning for that and becoming the revolutionary, of creating like a revolution, like let's do this. Okay? And I'm seeing you meeting the right people that can help kind of support this. Okay, so that is basically what we have all about your next chapter in your career, is definitely figuring out this in-between stage. A lot of you are figuring out some sort of in-between stage. And a lot of you have felt a lot of pressure, but this pressure has been coming on because a lot of the times we go through pressure when we're supposed to make changes. That's when pressure comes on us a lot, is when we're supposed to go through a metamorphosis. We're supposed to change. If you think about anything that goes through pressure, it is meant to change. When you put food into a pressure cooker, it's meant to shift and transform. It's meant to be cooked. It's meant to do something else, to become something new, right? When we put anything under pressure, it's to form it differently. For example, when we're forming metals into different shapes, we put it under pressure in order to become something new, something almost better. Right? So you're under pressure right now because you are supposed to step into something new. You're meant to be transformed. So allow it, surrender to it, allow it to help you transform, but allow it to help you transform in the best way, right? So take on it as almost a gift is kind of what I'm seeing here. So hopefully that makes sense. That is basically the message that we have from Spirit today, all about the next chapter in your career. This is really opening up something brand new for you, to where you can get to this 10 of Cups era, which is so positive and so beautiful. So I'm so excited for you. Definitely be wide open to new possibilities, because that, I think, is going to be one of the keys into getting where you need to go. And I think this new chapter for you is opening up new opportunities. This is opening you up way more to new opportunities than you ever had before. So that is basically what we have here, group number 3. I hope you enjoyed this reading. I hope it made sense for you, and I hope it offered some clarity and some guidance from Spirit. So I'm sending you all of my love. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give it a big thumbs up to let me know that. Hit the subscribe button down below if you want to see more videos like this in the future, because I'd love to have you there. And hopefully I see you in my next video. Bye. Oh my gosh, literally, actually, before I go, I forgot to pull the Spirit advice cards. We had a lot of advice from Spirit in this reading, but I do want to quickly pull actual advice cards. So if you're still here, thumbs up to you. We have allow yourself some fun each day, just as the sun dances with the moon each night. So have more fun in your life. Spirit's message for you, group number 3, is to have more fun in your life. Not to take it so seriously to where we feel like we're at rock bottom all the time. Get up and dance. Like, if you're feeling like you're having a bad time, get up and dance, because there's no way to be in a negative mood when you start like moving yourself in silly ways and just like dance, right? It really lightens up the mood. We also have cleanse. Wash your weary spirit clean and take a walk in the wooded glades. So if you're feeling like you need to let go of some emotion, cleanse yourself. Go for a walk outside. Go take a shower. Do something to where we really feel like things are cleansing. And even right now, if you feel like you need to let go of something, you can breathe in and imagine that you're breathing in pure white light, and it is going through and cleansing your entire body. And then on the exhale, imagine all of that old stuff, all that stress, all that worries or anything else, just coming out on that exhale and being released. Okay. Then we have the card of hope. An idea, like a single thorn, can start a wondrous forest. Ooh, this is so perfect for you. So an idea, like a single acorn, can start a wondrous forest. One single acorn can start an entire forest. So remember that, okay? And then the last card that we have is do not be deterred by the thorn amidst the roses. I feel like that's also a perfect message for you. So if the rose represents your ultimate dream, do not be deterred by the thorn that may exist amidst the roses. Every rose has its thorn. So don't be deterred by that, right? Because literally every rose has its thorn. So every dream has its thorns on its way there. Every dream will have its challenges. So don't be deterred by the challenges that it may take to get to your dream, because the dream is far more worth the effort than, not going for it. So that is what we have there. Thank you again for watching this video. I'm sending you all of my love, and hopefully I see you in my next one. Bye. Okay, so group number 4, if you chose this pile, then this is going to be a reading. So let's get right into it. Okay, so group number 4, the next chapter of your career, we have independence and wisdom coming up. So this is a very clear message. Can we just first say that independence can very much indicate that we are gaining more independence in our career, whether that be a higher position where we're in charge more, or we're even more independent because maybe we're working from home, or maybe we're now working for ourselves, or we're stepping into a more independent role where we feel more at large and in charge. So I'm definitely feeling like this new chapter is definitely opening up more independence for you, where you are more in control of your day-to-day life, especially in terms of your career. I'm seeing like being more in control of your schedule, being more in control of what you decide to even do creatively in your career. Like there may be more independence creatively as well coming up for you. This wisdom card is making me feel like some of you, there could be an opportunity to go back to school or take a course or do something that is increasing your knowledge. Some of you may be really interested in learning a new skill. Some of you may be really interested in reading some books, especially if you're going into like more entrepreneurial kind of stuff, like with more independence. Some of you may be very interested in gaining more wisdom, like reading books, taking online courses, doing things like that in order to gain the knowledge of being more independent in your career, whatever that may look like. But I'm definitely seeing this next chapter for you, group 4, is definitely all about more control, more independence, and more higher wisdom and learning. I'm seeing you really working and developing a new skill. At the very least, this could even be like just the skill of business, the skill of learning how to run a business. So it could take all sorts of different forms, or it could even take something like creative, especially if you're becoming more independent and say you're like starting your own thing. Some of you may be like, oh, I have to like learn how to make a logo. I might have to learn how to like draw. I may need to learn how to, film things or edit or do all sorts of other things. I'm definitely seeing building a new skill and more independence in this new stage of your career. So I'm definitely seeing like higher learning here. And this is looking like a very fun new stage that's opening up for you. So I'm actually really excited. Like group 4, what are you guys about to do? Because this is so exciting. Definitely some good energy here. And I think you're gonna be very proud of yourself. Also, this card wanted to come out, believe in the impossible. So if some of you have been wondering, like, is this even possible for me to do? Spirit's coming through right now with a message being like, hello, let's believe in the impossible here. So whatever it is that you are about to do or work on, that something that you've been thinking about, moving into in this next chapter, believe in the impossible. There's your answer right there. Is it possible for you to do it? Yes, absolutely. Spirit wanted to come through bright and hard with that message right off the bat. So let's see what else we get for you. So group 4, the next chapter in group 4's career. There we go. Some cards flew out. I love Fallout cards. I don't know why. I feel like it's Spirit like coming through with really strong energy, like bam. So we have full moon in Cancer. A personal issue reaches resolution. Ooh, some of you have been feeling like you don't want to break out of your shell. Cancer the crab. Some of you have been scared to get out of your comfort zone when it comes to this next chapter. So you've been staying in your current chapter in your career because there's been a little bit of fear with stepping outside of your comfort zone. There's been a little bit of a struggle, and it almost feels a little bit hard to maybe like step out of your comfort zone, but this is reaching resolution. You're about to step into this new phase, and this new phase is about, like it is time to believe that it is possible for you, because it is. It is time to just learn what you need to learn and dive into it, because yes, it's going to require some more learning, and it is going to require you to be a little bit more independent. So rather than relying on others to help you through certain things, rather than waiting on other people, this next chapter is definitely going to require you to be a little bit more self-sufficient and independent. So this is definitely going to require you getting out of your shell. That is one thing I can definitely tell you. And it might feel a little bit like unknown, and it might feel a little scary, but this is about getting out of your shell. And the odd thing is, with the full moon in Cancer, this is closing out that old chapter. The full moons are all about closing out that old chapter. So I think as you step out of your comfort zone and into this, you're going to realize how much you don't need to fear. And that's when this issue reaches resolution. You're going to find the resolution for it. It is not going to feel like that forever. You are not going to feel like you're a fish out of water for very long. You're going to very soon get used to it. So I'm really seeing that this is something you're going to get past very quickly. So if you're fearing it, universe is coming through right now being like, you have nothing to worry about. Because as you step into this new environment, I'm really seeing a lot of you being in kind of a new environment, or, again, stepping outside of your comfort zone to an area you have not traveled yet before. And it is going to fix itself very quickly. I don't think you're going to feel uncomfortable for very long in that scenario. I think it's going to heal up very fast, and you're going to find comfort and safety in that very quickly. So you won't need to worry for too long. We also have look at the bigger picture, full moon in Sagittarius. We have two full moon cards. You are closing out an old chapter of your life, again, which makes sense because the literal video topic is the next chapter in your career. But full moons are very much about closing out an old chapter. So if you've been stuck in this old chapter for a little bit now, this new chapter is right upon you. And don't worry too much, because you're going to find comfort in it quicker than I think you realize. Okay. So look at the bigger picture. Look at the bigger goal. What are you really shooting for? As you focus more upon that, and you focus more on what you do want and the direction you do want to go in, I think that's going to help you get through this a lot faster. And it's kind of like an interesting thing, how you can kind of picture this is, imagine that you're literally holding a bow and arrow, and you pull it back, and the arrow, you literally shoot for exactly what you want. What is your exact target? So define it, write it down. What exactly do you want this next chapter to look like for you? How do you want it to come out? What do you want the outcome to be? And then take an imaginary bow and arrow, literally pull it back, shoot it, let that arrow glide all the way into what you were imagining, and then just pull the rope all the way there. Take a step every single day and just go there and focus on that, rather than focusing on everything else that could go wrong. Literally just pull yourself, use that imaginary arrow with that string attached to it, and then just walk along that line every day to where you shot that target, right? So that's like an imaginary thing you can kind of do with yourself to help you get there mentally, especially when you're going through a little bit of hardship. You just remember, where did I shoot my arrow? Grab a hold of that line, to help you really start to bring your awareness towards where your trajectory is, rather than things that are off trajectory. Wherever our attention goes, energy flows. So if our attention is going towards, I made a mistake, oh no, that's going to be where our energy starts flowing, right? And it's going to put us back in our shell. But for those of you that chose this pile, group number 4, this next chapter is about you coming out of your shell. So to make yourself feel safer, go back to the imaginary arrow with that string attached to it and focus on that. Just keep going down that line. Keep walking down that line. Okay, so you got this. You got this. Believe in the impossible. Something that you didn't even think was possible for yourself is transpiring and is happening. So be prepared. So let's go ahead and take some tarot cards onto this group now. I love this next chapter for you. I just want to say, group number 4, this is sounding like it's going to be a very fun and life kind of altering sort of chapter for you of coming out of your shell so much more. I think this is something that's it's like a big step, a big phase that you're entering into. Now these cards are not wanting to shuffle very nicely today, but that's okay. So some of you may feel awkward going into this next stage. I take everything that happens as kind of like a little sign. And the fact that the cards are like kind of like hard to shuffle right now, that could also be my mistake. But energetically, since we're doing this reading, it can also indicate that maybe we feel a little bit awkward going into this new stage, because maybe we're feeling like, do I really fit in? How do I fit into this? Like, how do I do this? We also have the King of Pentacles being reversed. So yeah, we might be wondering, how do I fit into this? And we may be feeling like we don't really have like the most solid foundation in this new area quite yet, but that is being created. The more that we can come out of our shell, the more we can create that solid foundation for ourselves. Ace of Cups. So there's a new beginning. And of course, in a new chapter, you'd think that there'd be a new beginning. And we have the Ace of Cups there. So this is like something emotionally that we find is going to really fulfill us. So there's something emotionally that you really are called towards, because you know and you can feel it. You can feel how emotionally fulfilling that it would be. But then the King of Pentacles is reversed because we don't have all the details figured out. We don't have the most solid foundation that we could just walk in a clear direction. A lot of you need to figure out details still. A lot of you still need to figure out all the actual physicality of it. What are the actual like steps to get there? What are the actual physical resources that I need to make this happen? You know, it's creating that more solid internal and external environment for ourselves. So a lot of you need to create a more solid internal and external environment, and that's going to come with time, but it comes through stepping into the new environment, because that's going to be how we know how to build this next stage. That's how we're going to be aware and conscious of how to build that internal and external environment for us to create that new foundation, if that makes sense. So yes, there is this new chapter opening where you are feeling like emotionally very called in that direction, very, very called in that place. But this next chapter is about you stepping into it, taking action on it, putting yourself in that environment. So yes, like if nobody's ever explored a certain area of the world before, nobody's going to know what the weather is like. So we need to go there first in order to assess the environment, to know what kind of clothing that we need. Of course, we're going to go there probably not naked though. We're going to go with what we maybe assume that we need, and then it may change and alter along the way, or we realize like, oh, hey, I showed up with the exact right kind of thing. So that's what I mean by environment. We're needing to step into the environment first. We're needing to actually go there, take action upon it, to kind of put our feelers out, to know exactly what we need to do in our life to build the bridge for us to like move in that direction and to get to that new phase. So I hope that's making sense. But let's go ahead and see what else we get for my group of 4s. We have the 8 of Wands being reversed. So a lot of you are scared to actually fully go in a certain direction because maybe it's not very clear yet, and maybe we're still like putting out those feelers. But what I can tell you is that sky is becoming so much clearer. Then we have the 7 of Wands as well. So some of you are still battling some inner fears when it comes to this new direction. Some of you are still hashing out the details, being like, okay, is this going to go wrong? Is that going to go wrong? Do I need to focus on this? Should I have a backup just in case? Should I do this? Should I do that? Like a lot of you are still figuring out all of that kind of stuff. And that's going to be what leads you to this new direction. But we're needing to fully immerse ourselves in order for it to kind of fully manifest. But what I can tell you right now is it is manifesting. It is coming to its full fruition. And this is something that has such amazing potential to be so fulfilling for you and so rewarding. Even monetarily, it has the potential to be very rewarding. So as we shoot in that direction, as we get things more sorted out, this has the potential to be something super great. So let's go ahead and see what else we have. So group 4, also group 4, that's all about building a new foundation, the number 4. So it's interesting that you're also group 4. So there's a new chapter opening up for you for sure. So we have to the sea. So you're definitely on a brand new journey, that is for sure. And you're taking a chance on something. Going into a completely unexplored territory where there's no land yet, right? But we're going out there to kind of feel out what exactly we need. So a lot of you are exploring something brand new in this new chapter, that is for sure. And then we have all that glitters. This has something to be, this has the potential to be something that is so great and abundant for you. Something that almost can open up brand new opportunities for you. Something that can bring in more money for you. Something that has the potential to grow into something more. So all that glitters is something that has the potential to become even more. This could even be a stepping stone to something even greater, or the beginning, the precipice of something even greater. And it's interesting that we have the double 7 here, because the 1 and the 6 is a 7, and then the 7 over here. This is creating higher spiritual learning for you. This is even opening up new opportunities of learning deeper things. So a lot of you, I think in this new stage, you're going to be learning new skills. You're going to be learning new things that are actually going to help you in the long run. Also, I apologize. My camera's getting really dark over here. But this is something that is going to very much transform you in many ways. So be open to the transformation. There's so much more learning here than I can even begin to explain. So let's go ahead and take even more cards, because that is what we do in these readings. We just get more and more information. So this next chapter of career for group 4. Let's see, all about this next chapter for group 4. Also, there's an energy here with the King of Pentacles being reversed about do not give up. Because if we give up, we're not going to make it, obviously. Because how can we make it if we give up on something? There's an energy here of don't give up. Because otherwise you're not going to get to the vision that you desire, okay? We have ride the wave, so keep going along with it. Even as the wave crashes, there's more waves that come, and it just keeps coming. So go along with the ebbs and flows of it. Don't get deterred when the wave starts curving over and under, because it always comes back up. It always comes back up. So this is a reminder of the ebb and flows. Ride the wave. Then we have sacred pool. An interesting thing that I'm hearing from this is to cleanse yourself. In the sense of emotionally, when you're feeling overwhelmed, or you're feeling kind of worried or scared of going into something, I'm hearing this message from Spirit about cleansing and opening your wings. Ooh, opening your wings is something that totally right when I said it, I got goosebumps. This sacred pool card is telling you to spread your wings and don't be scared of flying. Flying can definitely be scary, especially when we haven't done it before. We haven't done it in that area before, in that realm of our career. It can be a little bit daunting. But I keep hearing in this card, spread your wings, and I literally think that there's an actual butterfly. I picked it on this card. So this next phase of your career, spread your wings and don't be scared of flying, okay? I'm going to go ahead and change my camera battery really quick because it's about to die. Okay, we are back. So let's see. What else do we have for my lovely group 4s? All about the next chapter of their career. We have self-love. So this is a time of embracing more confidence. And I really think that this next chapter of your career is actually going to increase your confidence a lot, because I think it's going to be something where you have to build confidence in order to even go in this direction. So naturally, as you go in this direction, I think your confidence is going to skyrocket a lot. And then we also have withdraw. So I think that it's also this next phase of your career, it's going to be really important to take breaks and get your rest, and have your reflection time as well. This is a fox too, which they're very determined kind of creatures. You can think about them as like very determined. They're hunters, like the foxes are hunters, but then they also need their time to withdraw. So even though you might have a very hunter type of spirit, like, oh, I want to go for that, oh, I want to do that, it's important to get your rest and relaxation and to withdraw once in a while. I also think this next chapter, you're going to be more focused on having that balance in your career as well. I think you're going to be much more focused on like, oh, I need like care and self-care in between working on my other things. I think this next chapter of your career is really about having more balance in your life. And we also have patience with the turtle shell. Have patience when it comes to getting out of your shell. This is going to take a little bit of time, but it is well worth it. This next chapter is about you coming out of your shell. Okay, we have 2 cards now explaining that. We had it with the crab and now with the turtle. So don't be hard on yourself if it's taking you a little bit of time to get out of your shell. I do think it's going to happen faster than you think, but don't be hard on yourself, okay? We also have the pillar. So you're building a very strong new foundation for yourself. This new phase of your career is something that is building something very strong. You are bridging the gap to something that you really desire. And this is also something that I really think is going to create a new foundation for you to expand on. I think that this new phase of your career is something that you can expand on way more than you think in the moment. Like you think you're starting something right now and you're like, oh, this is fantastic. But you don't realize that what you're creating right now is the foundation for something even more. All that glitters. This is something that can become much, much more. And then we also have connect to heart. I also think that this next phase of your career is something that connects much more deeper to who you really are. And this next phase of your career is something that I think is going to stick by you for a long time, because dogs symbolize loyalty. And when we think about loyalty in terms of the next chapter of your career, this is something that I think is going to stick with you for a long time. It's not just like a phase that you're going through, although everything kind of is a phase because everything transforms and changes. And I think that this is going to lead you to much more. And it's that foundation that's leading you to something that you can build upon even more. This next chapter for you is something that you can build upon even more. And I'm definitely seeing like this loyalty and this dedication in this area for you. So let's go ahead and see if there's any last messages from Spirit today. We have joy. So spread seeds of joy like a wildflower, and no doubt you will revel in the result. So whenever you're nervous, focus on the energy that you actually want to put out, the energy that you actually want to give and what you're trying to create, right? Just like we were talking about with the Sagittarius bow and arrow. Focus on what it is that you want the outcome to be and what it is that you really want to create. So spread seeds of joy like a wildflower, and no doubt you will revel in the result. Anytime that you have fear coming up, focus on like, how can I bring joy to this situation? Then we also have resilient. Stay as strong as evergreen trees. And the fact that we have evergreen coming up, I am seeing evergreen income within that as well. So some of you, ooh, and I'm hearing that with this sacred pool card as well, and ride the wave. There's a wave that you're creating in your career right now where it's opening up the doorway to evergreen income. And if you do not know what that is, evergreen income is something that you work on once, for example, and it becomes something that's like evergreen. So if you put out like, I don't know, let's say that you make like, like a course of some kind, and let's say it's like a self-guided course, that's something that can be evergreen income because you're no longer needing to put in the consistent work. Of course, you worked really hard on it in the beginning, but that's something that you can constantly sell without having to put in more work into, right? So I'm seeing like an evergreen income being born from whatever it is that you are doing right now, whatever it is that you're creating, and you're going to be able to ride that wave. And you're creating a sacred pool. This pool is reminding me of like assets, like you're creating a pool, you're creating like liquid assets, like cash, like money in the bank. I'm seeing more money being in your bank, and you're feeling more resilient about life because you're like, oh, I can really sustain myself. I'm feeling much more in power and much more secure because you have this pool to rely on. You have much more, you have much more assets like cash in the bank, things like that, that you can rely on. So you're feeling much more resilient. And much more evergreen and much more stable with your life in this next chapter as well. So it's opening up the doorway to create more of that. And then we have all that glitters. Look at that. Literally more cash in the bank for you. Your career right now, this next chapter is really leading you towards creating a lot more. And I think you're also taking a journey to kind of like test out some ideas, is kind of what I'm seeing here in the C card. There's a lot here for you that is untapped into and uncovered yet still. And you are getting into that. You are now riding the wave of starting to go in that direction to open up all these new doorways for you that are going to be very valuable, especially in the long run, because it's something that I think is going to build over time. So be resilient, stay as strong as evergreen trees. Don't give up on this. Sure, it's a little bit difficult in the beginning because to build something that's kind of evergreen, it takes a lot of work at first, but it's something that then can last quite a while thereon after. So, sorry guys, my phone alarm went off, but basically what I was saying was, this is what I see coming up for you in this next chapter, is opening up this doorway to much more than you can realize, and also having much more security in your life, much more to bank on, essentially, is a word that I just heard. So yes, that is what we have for you. I hope you enjoyed this reading group number 4. I hope it made sense for you, and I hope it offered some insight and guidance that you were looking for at this time. And I'm sending you all of my love. And if you enjoyed today's video, please don't forget to give it a big thumbs up to let me know that. Hit the subscribe button down below if you want to see more videos like this in the future, because I'd love to have you there. And hopefully I see you in my next one.